talented veterans that they're excited about. Boy, Pat, when you watch this team, even in practice as we did this morning, they are long.
Well, their starting backcourt goes 6'3", 6'4". Okay, athletic. When you talk about Iverson, Molinari, and of course Tyson Carter, the veteran leadership that he brings, and from a defensive standpoint, you try attacking those gaps. Because once you get past those guys, you got Woodard, Adu, and Reggie Perry waiting for you.
It's the second SEC team that ULM has faced now. They just came off a heartbreaking loss to Texas A&M, a game they were up big in the second half, but the Aggies would prevail. Bulldogs prevail on the opening tip. We're underway here at the Hump. Carter up top. He's been playing a lot of point guard now, and this is his senior campaign. Always a lethal shooter from outside. Has it up top with 10 on the shot clock. Pulls up, 17-footer, nothing but net.
That's like a layup. That is like a layup. ULM needs to understand when he's coming off that screen, and he's going to be doing it a lot, you got to run that off, run him off that spot.
2 and 3, Ertl and Williams, the two guys to look out for today. For the boys from Monroe, Louisiana, there's a jump hook shot inside. So the moment I start praising their guards, it's Efra Tui, a 7'1" junior out of Nigeria, who drops down a bucket.
And we'll see Tyson Carter come off every imaginable screen, double screens. You saw right there, he was going to get a dribble handoff. Made a nice backdoor cut from Reggie Perry.
Great hustle by Ertl, but there to collect the loose change is Reggie Perry. Mississippi State last year, NCAA tournament appearance, their first in 10 years, the first under head coach Ben Howland, now his 5th year in Starkville. Kick out pass, sets up Perry. He's been working on that shot and knocks down the triple. That was the one thing in his game that he really wanted to improve in this his sophomore year.
Well, we saw that shoot around today. Coach Howland pleading with him. Keep your hand up on the release. Keep your hand up. He's improved his form, and now he shoots with a lot more confidence than he did going back to the beginning of last year's freshman year. We saw that.
Along the baseline, and a turnover. The Warhawks will give it back to Mississippi State.
You can see Mississippi State on the offensive end, what they're trying to do. They want to have Tyson Carter come off so many screens because he demands so much attention from the defense, and then use him and Reggie Perry at the end of a play, because at that point you got to pick your poison.
There's a leaner and a nice shot by the freshman out of Panama City, Panama. That is Iverson Molinar.
Explosive. Young, though. Still going to make some mistakes. He's still learning on the job. But that allows Tyson Carter to play off the ball and focus on his on getting his shot off.
Ertl creating. The lefty fires a fadeaway. He had 6 3-pointers in that loss to Texas A&M. Quick pass inside to Adu. Adu turns and faces. Now backing in. Playing a little bully ball. Fires up the hook shot. No. And then a lot of contact down low. That's going to be a foul on the Warhawks. That'll go against 23 Uri White. 3
great things happened. Well, 4 if you consider the defensive rebound. You had outlet pass right away to Molinari. Then you have Abdul Adu, the big fella, running onto his spot. Perfect spot on the block. And what do? They get it there to him. He was patient. He knew he had an advantage there. And then, of course, Reggie Perry on the miss gets you another offensive possession. How many was that? 4 or 5 good things?
I lost count at 4.
All right.
You threw a flurry at him.
A lot better than that shot we just saw. But
now
you can build on. We got something to build on.
Now you got something for the negative column. We're all about fair and balance here.
What I'm watching for right now in Mississippi State's defense is keeping Louisiana Monroe out of the paint. Okay, you see, keep everything in front of you contained.
White, that's a deep 2, and that's an oxygen ball. That would have been a 3-pointer a year ago. Of course, the 3-point line, that's the white one you see on your screen. It's been backed up this season about 15 inches to the international line. And talking to Coach Ben Howland today, he believes the 3-point percentages across the country are going to go down at least 2% with the extended arc.
And he's the mad scientist. How he comes up with that number, I don't know. But again,
a lot of work in the lab, just like you.
Exactly right. Get in the lab, baby. I like it. That pass comes from Reggie Perry, a high-low Reggie Perry and Abdul Adu, with the ability now, Reggie Perry, to shoot that deep. jump shot, that's going to be lethal.
Ertl going to set up shop. The Mississippi State logo. Shot clock down to 10. And a good steal there. Quick hands by Woodard. Ahead to Perry. And a timeout called by Coach Richard of ULM. Turnovers have been a problem really for both of these teams, and here's another one for ULM.
Look at Woodard with fantastic hands like the college basketball, the epidemic of turnovers, and a lot of it is early season, young teams learning how to play with each other, knowing where other guys are on the floor. Although, okay, it's more than that, because you have players over-dribbling. You have players now who feel it's their right and their freedom to be able to dribble as much as they want. And then there's lack of movement by other teammates to help them out when they get in trouble. It's a big problem, Mike. It's a big, big problem.
Dare I say an epidemic. There's Adu with a block shot, one of the all-time leaders in that category. 132 career blocks now for Abdul Adu, the only SEC active player with more. Anthony McLemore of Auburn with 156.
The golden shoe of Reggie Perry just popped off of his foot in that play, in that exchange.
Well, he's hopefully ready to follow the yellow brick road back to the other side of the floor.
That's great help by Abdul Adu, but you see it's the physicality of Reggie Perry turning them, and there's the shoes right there. Those things are magical. If he clicks twice, you better be careful. He may end up in Kansas or wherever they'll send him.
Could be somewhere else in Mississippi.
There you go.
One of the many fine counties surrounding Start Vegas.
Perhaps if he plays well enough, they'll end up in Atlanta in early April. Because he can take them there.
That's right. Atlanta, of course, the site of the Final Four this year. Last time it was in the ATL. It was Louisville cutting down the nets under then head coach Rick Pitino.
Now, did you see he had these mouthpieces on the side as it was in that defensive possession during live action? It wouldn't actually end his mouth.
Carter feeling it. Perry, tap up, no good. And finally, the Warhawks clear it.
Another example, though, of the Warhawks not recognizing you got to get out and get on Tyson Carter before he rises up.
Another turnover. Carter throws it at the feet of ULM. So turnover for turnover right there. Bernard into the game for the Warhawks now. This young man has been quiet. It's their leading scorer, Michael Ertl. Only taken one shot. He's got the ball here at the top, guarded by Carter. Their second leading scorer, it's J.D. Williams. Inside, shot blocked, but a block foul called first. So wipe away the block for Adu. Perry called for a blocking foul. Friday, November the 22nd, #1 Kentucky plays host to Mount St. Mary's in a non-conference tilt at Rupp Arena. That'll be at 7 Eastern time. John Sundvold and I will be on the call for that one. Quick, just when you think you know what's what in college basketball, Kentucky looks so good in the win against Michigan State in the opener, and then they maybe got a little bit content, a little bit happy, and lost at home to Evansville.
The fighting Walter McCarty's.
Well, Walter was a great player back in the day in this league, wasn't he?
He was, and Walter was always a coach on the floor. And you talk about that 96 team that he played on, one of the greatest college basketball teams of all time. And then Evansville kid, too.
Great story for him, and one that he will not forget anytime soon. 7-point game, under 15 minutes to go, first half. This is Stewart with the basketball up top. DJ Stewart, a redshirt freshman out of Grace, Mississippi. Ben Howland actually told us, he said, I made a mistake last year. I should have played him last season. But and a lot of guys fighting for minutes on that team last year that made the NCAA tournament. There's Coach Howland. Excited about what he has this year. A California guy who's found a very comfortable home here in Starkville. Says he and his family love being in the area. Love the lifestyle here. Ertl trying to shake Tyson Carter.
That's
got a shadow.
Defense.
Fantastic defense. 7 on the shot clock. Ertl hounded again in the corner. Nowhere to go. Shot clock at 2. Williams launching a 3 right near the buzzer.
They did everything right except DJ Stewart forgot about the best three-point shooter on that for ULM, and that's Williams. That's going to be one of the teaching moments Coach Allen's going to play over and over and over. And he talked about it too, Mike. He said this morning, we're going to ask our guards not to leave their guards because they're going to be looking to shoot. Stay with your guy.
Fizel can't find it from outside. Sean Fizel has really made the most progress from last year to this year, according to Coach Ben Howland. He's down 24 pounds, a lot leaner, lighter on his feet. Shot clock under 10 for Ertl. Nice pass down low, and a whistle. That's going to go against Fizel. Might have been a good thing.
And right there, they got him in the corner, locked up, and DJ Stewart has somehow caught himself underneath the hoop as Williams runs pretty much the only place he could go to get that pass from Ertl and get up a shot is there on the left wing. Pass from the left corner to the left wing.
Williams is a good shooter, had a rough day against A&M, only went 1 for 10 from behind the arc. See if they can get him started. If the Warhawks are going to win this game, they need both Williams and Ertl to go off tonight. Ertl's been quiet thus far. Shot clock to 5. Ertl pulls up mid-range. Got it. Silky smooth lefty out of Indiana.
I can't tell you how difficult that was going to his right. Great pass, great run out.
With a facial. Rocking the rim. Right in the face of DeAndre Bernard.
That's how you get up the floor on a made basket. If you can attack like they just did, Mississippi State has the athletes to do that. I love a guy head up, throw it past the defense, get an easy bucket.
There's the first travel of the night and the 4th turnover on the Warhawks.
It was just a fantastic job. Obviously, Woodard there loses it on that power dribble. But Abdul Adu understands that. He sprints up floor. So now you got 2 guys getting up, beating the defense up the floor.
Adu is so good defensively. You like to see him get rewarded some on the offensive end as a reach-in foul here on ULM. I mentioned moments ago on Ertl, it's the first travel of the game. I say first travel because if you've been watching college basketball early on, one of the points of emphasis has been on lifting that pivot foot. You've seen a lot of walks called, trying to clean that up, make sure guys are not playing like perhaps they see in the NBA where they hardly ever call a walk, Pat Bradley.
Well, the NBA's got their own set of rules.
Yes, they do.
I'm convinced it's trending towards a different sport, okay, at this point. The NBA and college basketball. So there are things that obviously they do allow. Let's just call it what it is in the NBA for reasons that we know of. And stars are stars, and they're allowed to do things. But I'm glad to see that on the college level. How they call it.
Still calling it by the rule book here in the college game. Air ball fired up, but there's Woodard to scoop it up and fire a deep 2 and knock it down. Robert Woodard with his first basket. Sophomore out of Columbus, Mississippi.
And he's a guy that can score a variety of ways. Runs the floors. We just saw it get the offensive glass, and he can make open jump shots. He's a beautiful guy to play with because he doesn't need the coach to call play for him.
Backdoor cut and a beauty. Nice finish by J.D. Williams. He's got 5.
And by my count, that would be the first layup, true layup that ULM has early on. They did have a post baby hook shot. So the first time they were able to get inside for a layup there.
Inside. Out of bounds, it will remain Warhawks basketball. 11-10 to go first half. It's the Bulldogs up by 4.
When you talk about Mike Riley, you know that you're going to get a...
Bradley, Mike Morgan back with you at the hump in Starkville. It is Mississippi State leading UL Monroe 13-9. These 2 coaches very familiar with one another. Of course, we've talked about Ben Howland, the veteran. Ben Howland now in his 5th season. You go back to all his stops, including the Final Fours at UCLA. Back when the SEC made an extra commitment to basketball, you started seeing all the ridiculously good coaching hires that they made. And for Mississippi State to get Ben Howland, what a huge accomplishment. He's already made a big impact with this program.
Well, he brings the sense of experience, big time game coaching, and the connections and the networking, because as you know as well as I do, that you need players to get this thing done, to get Mississippi State again back to the tournament and to another Final Four. You got to have the right coach who can attract the right players, because they know that they're going to get better under him and playing big-time games.
And one staple of Ben Howland, everybody wants offense, but you go back to his success at UCLA and Pitt. When Mississippi State took on kind of a new identity under Ben Howland, the defense right away became a major focus. They've got rim protectors. They're long and athletic. They hound the ball. And that's always going to be a staple of a Ben Howland team. They're going to get after it defensively.
And, well, you can look at this team, and he's shaping it in that way. We talked about Stewart, who is he's a great defender. I realize he lost Williams, the shooter, on that one play, but he's long enough on the wing to cut down driving lanes, make everything difficult. He's got to shoot over these guys, and the whole entire team is built like that.
Inside, the 5 to shoot. Shot is blocked, and then it's knocked out of bounds. Fizel had it swiped as he took the ball back down near his waist.
Big fella's going to be thinking about that one for a while.
Yes.
That was the time for him to do a chin up on the rim. You know what I'm saying? Get on the highlight tape.
Shot clock's at 2, so it's got to be a quick hitter on the inbounds. Comes into Perry, baseline jumper, misses everything, and that'll be a shot clock violation. And that is Coach Richard of ULM, now in his 10th year with the Warhawks program. He knows a thing or two about the SEC basketball. He spent a couple of years as an assistant coach at LSU before he got the job in Monroe. Nice pass down low and a two-hand flush.
Well, all eyes were on Ertl coming off that weak side ball screen. And yes, it's everybody in Mississippi State knows he's one of the two that you have to shut down, but it's got to be some communication, much better communication on that switch.
Ifajay on the slam. Coming up on 10 minutes to go first half. Perry trying a blind pass inside.
I got to get a replay of that.
I don't know if Ben Howland's going to be a huge fan of this one.
Now, we know what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? I love the creativity. I love the willingness to be unselfish. Now that's just go up quick, good catch. And that was just a miscommunication on that weak side screen.
If that pass made it through, it's like going through a car wash without getting your car wet.
That's pretty good, and that's exactly what it would have been.
Perry draws contact and draws a foul. He'll be on the line for 2. This guy is a load and hard to guard. Reggie Perry, again, expanding his offensive game, becoming a little more perimeter-oriented. The size and the effectiveness down low has already been there. A lot of that was just something he's born with. I mean, he's got a frame, folks. 6'10", 250. Good luck trying to find an ounce of fat on that frame.
And I love the fact that in just a year's time in college basketball, he's taking the leap and taking the responsibility of being a distributor, a willing passer. He understands now, every time he catches it, there's going to be 5 guys watching what he does.
Was on the Team USA FIBA World Cup team. Was actually voted the most valuable player on that squad.
And we'll see him. He'll catch it, obviously, above the three-point line, give him jab step series, see if he can break down his defender. We'll see him in the mid-post and the deep post. He'll catch it. And what I love, you'll see him get a defensive rebound and start the break on the dribble on his own.
Warhawks hanging around. They've made their last 4 shots, make it 5. Again, a backdoor cut. And again, on the other end to burn the Bulldogs is Ifajay.
Taking advantage of that eagerness to get in the passing lane for another steal and dunk.
Perry tries to whip it into the corner and turns it over. And again, the turnover bug that we talked about. It's been an issue for Mississippi State. A lot of things to like about this team, but that's something they're going to have to clean up.
Yeah, and a lot of it is trying to play too fast sometimes, slow it down, look at where the defense is coming at you, and also your teammates getting to that open spot too, so you do have someone to pass to.
Perry snatches another rebound ahead to Carter. Carter, wicked crossover. Scoops it up with the left hand. How in the world did he get that one to go?
The magician with the left hand scoop. Great attack too with the defense on its heels.
Father is a high school coach, wanted to be here, but got a game tonight. Of course, one of 3 Bulldog players whose fathers played at Mississippi State. Rebound fought for, and that's going to be a foul on the floor against Mississippi State. Aduru.
Great hesitation. See how he moved the defender. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. What he had to figure out, though, was how to move that defender just a couple inches to his left so that he could attack with his right hand. That's some of the greatest on-ball dribble penetrators are able to do that. Just move your guy just enough to where you got a straight line dribble to the basket.
Only the 15th foul on Mississippi State, so no free throws as of yet. 8.5 to go first half. 3-point lead.
Oduro came out quick because he wasn't physical enough on that weak side rebound.
Got to box out. Another staple of Ben Howland team. Ertl. Well, he has had to fight for every inch of space. Deep 3. And a brick fired up that time by Tyree White. Stewart on a stop and pop and rattles it home, plus the foul. DJ Stewart.
You cannot script that. I'll call it a secondary break as good as that, because what you had was DJ Stewart right there gets the handoff. As a left-handed player, he's coming off with that left hand, that strong hand. One dribble in the lane. He's got a great mid-range game as well. And Abdul Adu is already set up on the block in case there's a missed shot. He's ready for it, or his guy leaves to help. So that was a well-executed fast break.
I mentioned Stewart redshirted last year, and Ben Howland told us he was certainly good enough to play some last year. But I kind of like seeing some guys able to redshirt. We don't see that anymore in college basketball. Everybody's promised playing time right away. Woodard rips down the rebound ahead to Stewart. Stewart wheeling and dealing himself into a walk.
So you remember we talked about the turnover issue?
I do.
Part of that is over dribbling.
Yes.
Get yourself into trouble. I love the aggressiveness, though. Keep that up.
We'll be traveling the pregame show to Oxford for #1 LSU and Ole Miss. Laura, Marty, Marcus, Paul, and Tim breaking down everything from the gridiron to the grill for Week 12 of the college football season. SEC Nation presented by Johnsonville right here on the SEC Network. Pat, you and I throughout the season, we should get something working where we got Johnsonville sausages being grilled somewhere in every arena around the SEC we go to.
You talk.
Little halftime meal.
That is music to my ears, my friend.
I'm just spitballing ideas. It's November. We're getting in the think tank, trying to see what we can come up with.
You bring the grill. I'll bring the charcoal.
Okay.
We'll have somebody else focus on the cooking part of it.
I'm a good grill man. Just keep me out of the kitchen. 6-point game. Ertl keeps that pivot foot. Kick out pass to White. And White gets fouled. A reach in by Carter, who thought he had all ball, but veteran official Mike Nance says no. Got a good crew tonight. Mike Nance, Anthony Jordan, Chris Ford. A Thursday night tilt in Starkville. Football team will be in action on Saturday. Not easy to get a hotel room here in Stark Vegas this week.
Place is already jumping.
Yeah. Had a good talk with athletic director John Cohen today. He was at shoot around, just doing his daily jog around the floor, getting his thoughts on a lot of things. There's a walk on J.D. Williams. The turnovers racking up. That's 6 now on ULM, something Coach Richard said they've got to clean up. Last year they were smaller, but they hit a lot more threes and didn't turn it over as much. This year they're bigger and a little bit more careless with the ball. Woodard wheels and deals off the front iron. There's Perry, beast mode, and the putback.
I mean, he's just so strong and wide, and it's almost like his hands have a magnetic force to the basketball, and it goes up so quick. You know, he passed out of it. He had the ball on the block and passed out of it.
And you and I had him at Ole Miss last year, and I thought in a lot of ways that was his coming out party. Mississippi State pulled off an upset in Oxford, and the Rebels had no answers for Reggie Perry.
From a physicality standpoint, I mean, there's really nobody that's going to take advantage of him, and now you see parts of his game evolving.
Ertl with a desperation three as the shot clock winds down.
And that's him, and he understands how to get position without committing a foul underneath the basket, because he's so strong that he's just using half of his strength to get where he needs to be. He's got that strong base. You could just see his, you know, his calves, his thighs, everything about him is strength.
Mississippi State on a 7-0 run. Up by 8. Perry going to launch a three. Reggie Perry starts hitting that shot. That is a nightmare for opposing SEC teams and coaches.
And part of it is the mismatch nightmare that he's going to be, because now you have to put somebody on him where can get out and defend that. But then when he does want to get in the post, well, what do? We can take advantage of someone who's maybe smaller, not as strong as him.
Abdul Adu, the 6'11 junior out of Lagos, Nigeria. 3 points on the night for the SEC's #2 active blocks leader with 132 all time.
And that's another part of the game from an offensive rebounding standpoint that you feel like Mississippi State's going to be able to take advantage of throughout the season on a lot of opponents. And that travels. You know, sometimes, obviously, the jump shot doesn't travel, but hard work, offensive rebound, stick backs, get to the free throw line. That's the stuff that you can win on the road with.
So do block shots. They travel pretty well.
They do, my friend. They do. And from a defensive standpoint right now, minus a couple of the backdoor cuts, Mississippi State has been able to keep ULM out of the paint. Make them do that.
Great possession there. Williams on a drive and kick to Ertl for the three.
Who are the two guys you don't give shots to? I don't care. Do not leave those guys.
Carter has it pop out.
See, there's a game plan that says do not come off Ertl and Williams, even if you think you need to help. It is up to the defender to contain his man so you don't have to come off of one of those guys.
Williams.
See, Tyson has got to be careful there.
Nice lead pass by Perry. Alley-oop pass on the other end. What a break that time for the Bulldogs as Stewart drops the hammer. That was a thing of art.
There was no doubt. I love Mississippi State getting up and down the floor a few times now, running that fast break. They got the athletes to do it. Guys are looking up, looking ahead, advance the ball in front of the defense.
Warhawks have gone ice cold. Kick out pass. There's that man. Williams knocks down a three. Pat Bradley, you got to guard two and you got to guard three.
Well, the issue is an instinct from a defensive standpoint. You want to help out, okay? But you've got to be disciplined enough. Great stick back by Adu. Knocked down. Count that as an offensive rebound. Just got to be defensive disciplined enough to know you cannot leave that guy. Great outlet pass. Tyson kind of looks up the floor. There he is. My man with the catch and the yoke. Stewart for two.
What do I want for Christmas?
Hurry in and save during Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's pre-Black Friday sale. Like this new Backcountry LED light kit for under $40.
We are trip today was to the Mississippi State weight room, and strength and conditioning coach Colin Crane was giving us a great tour. And yet they put me in the tank. Look at that form.
You look like a centaur, the mythical horse-man creature that can run and does it all. Is there wings, supposed to be wings on this? Look at him.
There was a little bit of a rocky feel to that run.
Yes, there was.
And there you see Colin Crane, who does a tremendous job. The facilities and the equipment, for example, that machine that I was attempting to run, and what that does, the reason why you're in kind of a bubble at the bottom, they pump in oxygen so you can take away as much of your body weight as you can or desire, so then you're lighter on your joints, but then you still get the cardio. This is now...
It's an amazing machine.
I mean, you know, what will they think of next? Everything up there, it's not just about weights and typical machines anymore. They're coming up with all kinds of stuff.
Well, and what's great about that, as he mentioned, is that was a nice move inside. Typically, you're not going to see Abdul Ado get taken advantage like that. But when you get a big-bodied guy like a Reggie Perry, there's so much weight in his joints. Or even when a guy has an ankle injury, but you still want him to run. That's the benefit of stuff like that. Like you said, it takes the weight off. And you were running at about 120 pounds. Like it was like you back in the 7th grade.
I felt good again. I felt like I was back running the 4x100, you know. It was a good feeling. I didn't see you get your cardio in.
No.
He was looking for volunteers. I think you went to the bathroom at that point.
Well, yeah, I was sweating as he started looking at me. He said, "Do you want to try anything?" I said, "No." But it might have been the first time that there was someone in a pair of jeans in that machine.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get the memo that I was going to be doing cardio at 8:30 in the morning. Nevertheless, it was good. We thank Colin Crane for that. He does a great job here for Ben Howland, and that's become one of the most valuable positions for any basketball staff, that strength and conditioning coach. Shake and bake. Little running left hook shot off the mark, and there's Ado to pick up the rebound. Ahead to Molinar. Inside. This is Perry going to work. And that's a shot he's going to get a lot off this year in conference play. I mean, nobody's going to be able to block Reggie Perry on that jump hook shot. He can get it to drop on a consistent basis. You'll see more production offensively out of the sophomore. Nice play off the inbounds. Deep two hit by Robert Woodard.
I tell you, Robert Woodard, you can just tell when he comes off, whether it's a screen like that, and he sets his feet, and you could just see it in his eyes. There is nothing, because he had a hand right up in his face. I mean, he almost could have called a foul. I think he hit him in the forehead, and it did not make him flinch.
Side, banging bodies, pump fake off Ado. Great up and under move that time as Ado left his feet. When you got a shot blocker, you know you can get him to jump. Efratui.
Efratui just invented a move right there.
Yes, he did.
He did an up and under with a opposite foot fadeaway. I think the only way he could have got that off against Abdul Ado.
7'1" junior out of Nigeria. Too strong on the first. 4 points thus far for Efratui.
And you could see ULM now in the last couple of possessions making a concerted effort instead of having Ertl and Williams run around trying to come off of a screen. They said, let's throw it down to the big fella. Let's slow this down a little bit and see if we can't get something out of our bigs.
On Saturday, we'll have another college football triple header right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Kick the day off at noon. Alabama, Mississippi State here in Starkville. Then it's Kentucky against Vanderbilt. Texas A&M hosting South Carolina at 7:30. And our SEC Saturday night matchup. Mike Morgan, Pat Bradley, great to be with you here on the SEC Network as we dive further into the college basketball season. Before you know it, we'll be into conference play in the SEC. 15 bids the last 2 years to the NCAA tournament. That's the second most of any conference in college basketball. Pat, you and I have been around this league for a while. I think it's safe to say SEC basketball has never been on more solid ground top to bottom.
There's no question. And we know what the front part of the league looks like with Kentucky and Florida, Auburn. But there's still teams. This Mississippi State team is different from last year when you lose Q Weatherspoon and Lamar Peters and waiting to get Nick Weatherspoon back. So they're going through some transition.
And you see last year 7 teams made it to the tournament. Auburn made it to the Final Four, beat Kentucky in the Elite 8. And the projections for this year, at least 7 or 8 again. A whole lot of depth. There's a steal. Perry got in the passing lane. And a foul on the Warhawks. And that'll send Mississippi State to the free throw line.
I like that. Coach Holland said, okay, you want to play through your bigs. We're going to send a couple double teams to you here and there. We're going to make your bigs think. And what happened? Forced a bad pass from one of the bigs. Caught in an uncomfortable situation. I almost thought Reggie Perry was going to blow out dribble all the way to the rim. Elect to give it up to Molinar, which I'm sure he was going to expect it back on the other end.
You mentioned Nick Weatherspoon, Pat. You know, they were without his services the final 10 games of last year. They're going to be without his services for the first 10 games of this season. Violation of team rules is the official heading of the suspension. But obviously that's a huge difference maker when he does get back in this Bulldogs lineup.
Mike, do you realize this kid's the best defender they got, okay, on ball. He's going to go 94 feet on you like you have never been defended before. He's explosive. He can shoot. He get to the rim. Big addition when he comes back.
Inside, running hook shot again off the mark.
Great outlet pass.
2-on-1. And no foul call. Like a reaching foul, like a little bit of contact, but instead it'll be out of bounds to the Bulldogs with 1:32 to go.
I'm going to say great defensive play because that was just beautiful. There might have been one dribble in that entire, you're talking 94 feet, one dribble, had an opportunity for a layup.
Carter might have been partially blocked, but there's Perry slithering in for another offensive rebound.
He's got a nose to do that, doesn't he? And he doesn't mind the contact.
I mean, that's the thing. It's nice to be big and athletic, but if you're going to be a good rebounder, you do have to have a nose for it. You have to be instinctual. And Reggie Perry has that in him.
You have to have the instinct and the willingness and the toughness. And he does. You know, you mentioned the size. Yeah, it helps. No question about it. But also the willingness, which he has, and the understanding of how, if more guys understood how they could affect games just by getting on the offensive glass and having that as a threat, it would help careers. It really would.
Already 9 points, 9 rebounds for the preseason all first team selection, Reggie Perry. Another turnover on ULM. That's Nicholas kind of lost his footing. Ball goes out of bounds. 8 giveaways on ULM.
You could see you could see it setting up because of the exchange. You had 2 offensive guys bring the defenders to each other, and then it was just great hands. Ball hawk, always looking for a deflection.
Under a minute remaining first half. Mississippi State up by 13. Carter finds Stewart. Down low to Perry. Perry.
Good patience.
And almost got an and one. Instead, he'll shoot 2 more at the free throw line.
And that's exactly what you want. Tyson Carter's coming off that screen. If he has that open look, he'll take it. Abdul Ado is diving towards the basket. On the other side, you already have Stewart ready, knows what he's going to do with it. Stewart's going to catch, shoot it, which he can do that. Catch, attack with his left hand in the middle of the lane, and then, of course, probably the #1 priority is going to be what he did, and that's get it to Reggie Perry on the block. And I do like he caught it. Wasn't happy with his position. Took those 2 dribbles with his left hand towards the middle of the floor. Got a little better angle to go off the backboard.
Former McDonald's All-American Reggie Perry. His father starred at Mississippi State a couple of decades ago.
Great family he's got. Love the Perrys.
There's that running hook shot. That time it drops for Everett Tui. And We got a little action right there, Pat Bradley.
I know, we almost got in the game.
I'm ready. Wing it.
My suit jacket's a little tight. I don't know if I get the ball up over the.
I think the ball was afraid of that power pink tie you're sporting tonight. Didn't want any part of that. Dad played in the late 80s. In fact, Robert Woodard was the first recruit of Richard Williams, who is sitting to our right tonight. He is the radio analyst for Mississippi State and led the Bulldogs to the lone Final Four that they made back in 1996. You played against that team. I remember that team. Dante Jones, what a
Dampier,
Eric Dampier, two guys that enjoyed careers in the NBA. There's Richard Williams on the left.
Darrell Wilson on that team. Absolute lucky. Bullard. I believe Darrell just went into their Hall of Fame.
You see the banner for 1996. Team knocked off Kentucky in the SEC championship.
And then they both go to the Final Four and Kentucky wins it.
That's right. Bulldogs going to try to play for the final shot. Carter gets a ball screen. Down to 5. Down to 3. Sets up a corner 3, and it's knocked down. 3 ball from Woodard, and that's a fine way to end the half for Mississippi State as the Bulldogs will take their largest lead to intermission, 15 points, 39-24. Reggie Perry leading the way for Mississippi State. 10 points and 9 rebounds for the sophomore. And actually led that team, was the MVP of the under-19 USA team. Obviously a great experience for Reggie Perry, and hopes to use that momentum into the regular season. This is sophomore year for the Bulldogs.
I was going to rip through that shirt, and there's no doubt he's the MVP. The variety of skills that he has, and Mike, he's just started his sophomore year. Did we remind you of that? Like he's got 1 year of college basketball under his belt.
Again, Mississippi State playing without their veteran point guard, Nick Weatherspoon, serving a 10-game suspension, violation of team rules. When they get him back, that'll take some pressure off the likes of Carter and some of the other guards that you see for the men in maroon and white tonight.
Okay, so you know I love Nick Weatherspoon. One of the things that could come out of this, though, is Molinari getting so many minutes as a youngster, because that kid is talented. For him to get important minutes early on in his career, now you're going to be able to depend on 3 guys that got some experience.
Molinari holds the ball up top, guarded by Williams. Perry, by the way, snatched his 10th rebound in the last possession. There you see Nick Weatherspoon looking on, readying his team on as Adu tried to rock the rim on that take. He draws the foul. Perry with his 10th rebound just picked up another double-double. Reggie Perry in a little more than a half of basketball as a double-double, and Adu is back to the free throw line. Reggie Perry now 11 career double-doubles. That's the most of any player in the SEC. And I have a feeling he's going to have a lot more when this season's all said and done.
I was going to say, it's going to be like, you know, wake up, get your coffee, get your paper. Reggie Perry's got a double-double. Like, okay, I mean.
He's going to stuff the stat sheet in Starkville this year.
He had 4 assists last game, too. So you're going to see that when he even becomes more comfortable with that role on this team.
Well, you mentioned it, and Coach Allen told us this today, that the offense, many possessions will go through Reggie Perry. They believe he's got great instincts as a passer. Williams on a deep 3. That's one of those two, the dynamic duo. They will call it a deep 2. Once again, the difference between the old line and the new line. What do you think of the new line, you being the man of 366 career threes?
That's right. I like it. Certainly for spacing purposes, I do think it'll have an effect on three-point shooting percentage throughout this year, though.
Perry tries to show off his three-point range. They have called it a 3, by the way, on Williams, so 40-27 is our score.
Well, if there's one way for ULM to get back in this, it's from that three-point line.
There's another walk. And there you see, this is the progression of the three-point line. You got to go back to 86, 87 when it was introduced. I think most people realize that was just too short. I thought they missed an opportunity when they backed it up 10 years ago, why'd you only back it up 1 foot? Finally, they got, I think this is the sweet spot. I think this is kind of the bed for Goldilocks. It's just right.
It is, and you'll see players adjust to it. That's a tough move right there. That's what's going to happen if you don't throw a double team at him, and that's what makes him so valuable. That wasn't an easy shot, too. He was halfway up to the free throw line, gave that little hook shot.
12 points, 10 rebounds now for Perry.
The players are more comfortable shooting it deep. Oh, my.
Where does that come from? Tyree White trying to put together a Sports Center top 10 highlight. Instead, he got rejected by the rim. And then on the other end, in transition, it's Robert Woodard.
I love Woodard. He is so efficient from the floor. He takes good shots. He's ready to shoot it when he has to. He's strong enough to finish in any situation above the rim with contact.
7 points for Woodard. ULM right now in the danger zone, really struggling. Williams, 7 on the shot clock, feeling it. Heat check, deep 3, rims off, tapped around, and ULM will have a second possession. Keep in mind now the shot clock only resets to 20 on an offensive rebound. Nice take that time by Ertl. That's a rule change, though, that I like. We just had a chance to see that instead of resetting to 30, you get 10 fewer seconds, more shots, more action, less stalling, if you will, in the college game.
Absolutely. That's 20 is plenty of time. There's that high-low action we saw early on in the game. And that's a pass Reggie Perry is going to be able to make better, more efficient as he becomes more comfortable with it.
Woodard rips down the rebound ahead to Carter. Carter weaving, dishing. And a jump ball. And the arrow to Mississippi State.
Explosive, got exactly what he needed with that hop step right there, going off 2. But you know who he met at the rim?
Well, ado.
In Reggie Perry, yeah. So,
and that was much ado about nothing.
There's probably 95% of the time that right there is a yoke. Beautiful one-handed dunk, maybe the foul. Let's take it down the other end, except you're matched up against a team that can protect the rim like Mississippi State.
Woodard on a tray. And another jump ball. This time the Warhawks will maintain possession with 16:13 to play. Louisiana Monroe, also known as ULM, out of the Sun Belt Conference. Head coach Richard in his 10th year. They were number 6 in the country in three-point shooting last year, 39.6%. That is strong. This year, though, a little bit bigger, not going to rely as heavily on the three-point shot.
Different personnel.
That puts a dent in the backboard off.
Clearly different personnel than last year.
Yes.
Well, one of the issues, too, you talked about three-point line being moved back, is what I look for is front rim. If you're hitting the front rim consistently on that three-point shot, you're not prepared. You're not using your legs enough to get that to the rim from that distance. That's going to be the biggest adjustment from a lot of guys. And we saw Mississippi State's first 2 threes this half, front rim, front rim.
Turnover on Adu. Timeout on the floor. Mississippi State enjoying life here early on in the second half. Win every game, right? You want to go 40-0. Sometimes an early loss like that can help a coach recalibrate. You now have everybody's attention. Everybody's telling you how good you are at the beginning of the year. And then all of a sudden you get humbled a bit. And it's like, okay, we got some things we got to work on.
Well, especially since it's fixable things.
Sure.
It's bad rotations. It's not understanding when to rotate, how to rotate, much like we saw in this game right here. When your assignment is to not help off of the shooter, and you help off of the shooter, and he makes a shot, those are defensive mistakes that get you beat, okay? And unfortunately for Kentucky, they turned it over. A bad defense, all in one game. That's what happened.
Good defense there by Carter, ahead to Woodard, and the gliding bucket from the left side.
I thought we were going to see a midair collision, my man. Great body control, though. Finish with the left. No need to take an unnecessary hit up in the sky if you don't have to.
Oh, they've been working that backdoor cut to perfection. There's a fade and fire. Nice bucket for Michael Ertl, coming off a 25-point performance in the loss to Texas A&M. He's got 9 tonight.
And that they have run that a few times, and it has worked perfectly. So you know that's something that they've worked on in practice. Even that time, he threw it and really wasn't even open.
Adu bellied up defensively, kicks it out. Here's Carter with 7 to shoot. Carter misses the rim. Well, we've seen a lot of air balls tonight.
Someone left that door away. It's been a little windy in Stark Vegas.
Cold front.
Yes.
Ertl's fouled on the drive.
Nice little hesitation there. Got to respect the jump shot. The fact that he pull up at any time. It's the two marathon men, Tyson Carter and Ertl. Those guys have to continually move. They have to be the most conditioned athletes in the country. Certainly Tyson Carter, he's going to log a lot of minutes, man. He has to be the best conditioned athlete on this team.
Ertl, the former Sun Belt Freshman of the Year, now in his junior campaign out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Reggie Perry gets a breather, and there's Pops.
There he is.
Al Perry looking on. Played here, now his son playing here, and he's going to get a chance to watch his son in the NBA before too long.
Good guy. Really great guy.
Perry sets a high ball screen for Carter. Carter draws the attention, kicks it out. And now gets it back in the corner and rims out. Around and knocked down, and then a reach-in foul on Perry, and he knows it. Last year, Mississippi State did 292 three-pointers. It's the 3rd highest total in school history. I must admit, you and I saw a lot of them last year, and that number snuck up on me. I never thought of them as a three-point team because they have so much weaponry down low.
The one thing, though, that they didn't lack was guys who were shy of shooting that three. Hugh Weatherspoon, Lamar Peters,
right.
Nick Weatherspoon, and of course Tyson Carter. He's their best three-point shooter. And of course now add Reggie Perry into that mix as guys that will shoot. Everett Holman.
Quindary Weatherspoon, by the way, now on a 2-way contract with the Spurs, presently in the G League. I have a feeling, given some time, you're going to see Quindary Weatherspoon as a regular in the NBA. Of course, there's his brother Nick, who will be cheering him on when that does happen. Quindary, I always had a lot of respect for his game. Great all-around player. Ertl. Shake and bake, stop and pop. Left it short. Ertl wants that one back. Everything but the bucket.
Yeah, that is tough to try to take it upon yourself, and certainly he's able to make that shot. Just needs a little bit of space to get it off.
Williams. And foul call on Robert Woodard. Fans never like the soft contact whistles down low, but that's been part of the NCAA's initiative over the past however many years now. Clean up play, particularly down low, freedom of movement. Just don't play defense with your hands.
Right, and it's good. It's a great thing for that to happen. Just it helps the flow of the game. Because what you don't want is then two guys then banging on each other down low and get hurt. Everything. It's just ugly basketball.
Legal screen call to the Warhawks. You know, as much as this game has been dominated by Mississippi State, ULM is certainly in it. 14-point deficit, a whole lot of time to go.
Well, there's no doubt. A couple of lazy passes like that, this could be the second consecutive turnover by Mississippi State. And you always have the threat of ULM and their guards getting hot. And then what we've seen tonight is ULM has the opportunity and the threat. They can throw it down low to the big guy to slow things down.
So both coaches there is Coach Richard. Before that, Ben Howland. Ben Howland, among his many talents, great movie buff. Man knows his cinema. I always enjoy talking a little movie buzz with Ben Howland. Got good taste in movies. I think we've both seen Casino and Goodfellas over 100 times.
But now I'm going to call that the third turnover in a row, even though they got it back on the jump ball. And two of them were over dribbling. One was a lazy pass.
Nifty move that time. Ifajay with an up and under. Perry, mid-range game, off the mark. Williams reels in the rebound. Got Ertl. A little bit sooner, Ertl would have gotten that shot off. Instead, kicks it out. Got two Bulldogs fighting for the rebound. That's a walk. Fizel and Perry were fighting each other for the ball, and that's a travel. 11:28 to go. It's a 12-point lead for Mississippi State.
You don't think it'll happen to you, and you surely don't think it'll happen twice. I've lost.
But 11 turnovers for the Warhawks. Just can't have. You're going to pull off an upset on the road, SEC opponent. Coach Richard knows you just can't have that.
I think, Mike, the bigger issue is there's no consistency. Each of these teams can string together 3-4 good offensive possessions. Then all of a sudden, boom, 3 in a row. It's like they're throwing the ball around the arena. So that's the bigger issue. Yeah, the 20 is a high number, but 12, 13 could be a high number if it comes at a bad time.
Great ball movement. Sets up a Williams 3. Boy, he's got a pretty stroke.
Who'd you say?
Number 3.
Okay.
J.D. Williams.
Coach Holland's like, what are you doing?
It's the same two guys you got to worry about from behind the arc, and only two. That's why you got the scouting report, right?
Yeah, and I didn't even get the whole scouting report. That's all I needed to hear Coach say.
Molinar, second effort, yes.
But Molinar says, you know what, Coach? I'm athletic and explosive enough. I can get it back for you. Although trading 2 for 3, that math doesn't work.
That typically is not a good exchange rate.
See, that's what helped me, because I was shooting the 3 and giving up 2. So,
so you were always.
Yeah, I'm on the positive.
You were on the positive side.
You know what I think has changed too for ULM?
Oh, that looked like 2 walks in one, and then an offensive foul.
And you can see Coach Richard saying, wrong guy got it in the wrong spots. And it's early. This is the first couple of games that you're going to see guys in the wrong position. And I was just going to say Ertl, I think, too, what's changed ULM here is his aggressiveness. He's taken upon himself to challenge and challenge Mississippi State's defense.
Great post by Perry. He carved out some room on Ifajay the moment he got in the front court and basically made it too tantalizing not to give up the ball.
Right, so you see when he wants to get in there, get big, open up, demand the ball, you got to get it to him.
4th foul on Ifajay. Let's see if we can get a look at Perry. So often big men complain about not getting the ball from the guards. It's up to the big men.
Sure.
Exert the energy to get open down low.
And you know what it is, though? Post passing is an art. You have to, as a passer, understand you may have to ball fake high, pass low, ball fake low, pass high. You may have to take one dribble to left or right and create a pass lane. So both have to work together. When you talk, and frankly, I just don't know if some guard, and it's been like that for years, understand how to get it to their big guys.
Still a game of angles, right?
That's it.
Williams on the baseline. Coming up on the 10-minute mark of this ball game.
Great
Woodard scoops it up. Perry poked it away. Perry leading the break. Going to take it all the way. And just got hammered on the drive. You get the feeling if Reggie Perry wants to, he's going to be able to just keep scoring and rebounding in this game. ULM, they might be bigger than in years past, but they don't have a force the likes of Reggie Perry.
That's right. And we talked about the evolution of Reggie Perry's game, and frankly, part of it starts here in that free throw line.
Now that's an area he's going to need to improve because he's now missed 5 of them thus far. He's working on a 13-point, 12-rebound night. Cracking a smile about it. Like, I know I can shoot him better.
Well, it was 50% last game. You know, the amount of time that he can spend on the free throw line. And like, that's a difference between throwing up, you know, 15 and 10 and 20 and 10. That could be the difference between going on the road and knowing you can get the free throw line anytime you can and winning games on the road in the SEC.
Bulldogs 14 of 21 from the line as a team. Hurdle again on that back door. He has been toasting defenders on just a simple backdoor cut for much of this game.
And he's always moving. I'll give him a lot of credit. He is always moving without the ball, and when he has the ball, he's got that herky-jerky, you know, stutter step move about him, the threat of always pulling up and making a shot.
Tyree White finds Ertl. Quick trigger on the 3. Another rebound snatched by Perry. That's 13 of them. Three on the way. And then Perry on a reach-in foul.
I like that Reggie Perry brings the ball up the floor, directs the offense, uses that. Now they get an open shot for Woodard, who normally when his feet are set, he's going to make that shot. And we talked about the adjustment, just a little bit deeper now for him to make that adjustment, to make that three-point shot from what he's been used to in the past.
17 fouls spells a 1-and-1 for Ed Vertui. Awkward release. That ball put a dent on the back iron. Pat, you might spend a little time with Mr. Ed Vertui if you ever see this.
Send him all my way.
The Warhawks again.
It's just, you know, you look at a player and you feel for them because they're not comfortable with the free throw line.
Stewart hanging, firing, and hitting. DJ Stewart.
I'm going to tell you now, that's the second time he's able to, and he's long, explosive. He can get into the lane, that little nice pull-up jump shot. Some call it the lost art, the mid-range jump shot.
Adu pushed the lower back, so he's whistled for a foul. So he's giving the Warhawks some free throws here.
We saw the marathon man, Ertl, in the two-box shot there, always constantly moving, and he's moving, getting back screens, he's backdooring. Tyson Carter does the same thing on Mississippi State side.
Another miss at the free throw line. And then a foul on ULM. That's going to be team foul number 6 on the Warhawks. 8:25 to go. Mississippi State trying to improve to 3-0 on the year.
In the next few minutes, I think we'll see if ULM can make a run here or Mississippi State can establish themselves here and try to put together their own run to extend that lead. And I think I may have just gotten the answer to that. Because you have to understand, you know, there's 8 minutes left, but you have to understand how can we extend our lead. And you can do it in a number of ways. Most of the time, it's about can we string together 2, 3, 4 stops and then come down the other end and get a couple of buckets.
And Mississippi State is in a little bit of a fouling frenzy here the last few possessions. We'll step aside, 7:54 to go. 15-point lead for the Bulldogs here at the Hump in Starkville on a Thursday night.
Support your favorite college at Fanatics.com. The largest assortment of officially licensed.
Mississippi, Mike Morgan, Pat Bradley. Happy to have you along on this Thursday evening. SEC poised to have another big year in college hoops. I mentioned 15 bids the last 2 seasons. You look at the preseason rankings, and you know it's not going to be a lot of controversy to have those first 5. I think where this conference really is going to surprise some folks is once you get 6 to 10, because I see a lot of value 6 to 10, even 11, for example. I'll buy some stock. I'll take a waiver on South Carolina. Pick 10th and 11th in some leagues. I mean, A.J. Lawson is an outstanding point guard that has NBA written all over him. Frank Martin has his deepest team. I think there's some teams there that you can get some value with that are going to surprise some folks this year. And when you look at those top 5, there's not much to argue there. And, of course, there's Mississippi State at 7.
Buy stock in South Carolina. Buy stock in Missouri.
Really? Buy stock in Mizzou?
Missouri. They had an opportunity to go on the road to Xavier last week and win that game. Lost it in overtime. That's a top 25 Xavier team. I'm telling you, Missouri, Drew Smith, Mark Smith, Jeremiah Tillman, Xavier Pinson, Torrance Watson. I'm just telling you, get on now. Ole Miss. I know our Mississippi State brethren and sisters listening now. Yeah, I'm telling you. Ole Miss, the egg bowl of basketball. And
yes.
Cole Kubelik hates when people say that, but that's what it is, Cole. Get used to it, pal.
Way to upset one of our cohorts, Cole Kubelik.
Well, you know, Cole always gets what he wants. You know what I mean? It's about time we get something.
There you go. Of course, great job that Kermit Davis did last year with Ole Miss. To go back to Mizzou, for me, it comes down to one thing, is I like their guards as well. Jeremiah Tillman has to stay out of foul trouble and stay on the floor. He's too good a player not to do that.
That has been the, for Coach Gonzo Martin, that has been the discussion of the offseason for a few off seasons for him. See, Abdullah Do right there, okay? You talk about Reggie Perry getting big. There's nothing wrong with just get big. See what happens. Be a threat.
That was a play. Stewart came off a screen. Everything looked good until the ball left his hand as he fired up an air ball.
He's got a little smirk on his face. He said, well, when we ran it this morning and shoot around,
it looked really good.
That was great. It worked. Man. Then the lights get turned on and guys with the other jerseys, get on the floor and things change.
Ooh, pretty hook shots. That time by Efratui.
Now, I don't know if he felt the double team from Reggie Perry or that was just his natural move, but it looked like he did. He spun to that right the perfect time because Perry was coming.
It's the first Warhawks field goal in nearly 5 minutes. And again, they're hanging around. It's a 12-point game. Nice leaner.
It's the second time Molinari has been able to do that in the first half. He gets in the lane. Nice little soft touch. So we've seen the big fella go left and then spin right.
Whoa. Reggie Perry with a smack we can hear here. He was trying to ambush him from the weak side, but
Reggie says, you're not coming to your left. No, spin right again.
Perry will take a seat back on the bench as he just picked up his 4th foul.
Yeah, right there, I think Reggie. Well, I know what he was thinking. He was hoping the big fella, his suspect with the ball, is going to leave it loose, and he's going to come and steal it and run for a dunk.
On Saturday, 10 a.m., SEC Nation will be traveling to Oxford. #1 LSU taking on Ole Miss. Laura, Marty, Marcus, Paul, and Tim breaking down everything from the gridiron to the grill for Week 12 of the college football season, presented by Johnsonville.
just see 3 guys from Mississippi State get up over the rim?
I did see that.
This free throw, you kidding me? I mean, they jumped, had a conversation, who's going to come down with it? I mean, it's like, you know, the only little guy that could get up like that would have been you. It'd have been could have had interviewed him up there.
Maybe that's how we'll do the post-game interview. 1 second left, and a shot clock violation.
You know, it's not a surprise, and it's nothing against the guys on the floor, but you get a freshman point guard, and he's still figuring out how to run this team, how to get guys catch and shoot, and Fizel had the opportunity, wasn't looking at the rim. And I think that's part of what's so critical about these early games, as you see another turnover, is getting these guys in position to have key moments and understand, because if you don't get minutes now, you can't plug a guy in SEC play and expect him to know exactly what to do. So these are big moments for these guys that hadn't logged a lot of minutes last year.
Alley-oop pass, sailing over the head of Woodard, and the play has gotten a little bit ragged here in the second half.
Not a bad idea. Execution, not so good.
Yeah, we know they have a vertical leap, but not quite that good. 54-41 our score.
What?
Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Under 5 minutes to go, a 13-point lead for Mississippi State. On Saturday, we got a college football triple header. It's Alabama taking on these Bulldogs. Kentucky against Vandy, and Texas A&M playing host to South Carolina. He's Pat Bradley. I'm Mike Morgan. We are with you at the hump. Bulldogs trying to make it 3-0. A couple former Bulldog football standouts enjoying the game here in Starkville. There's Jeffrey Simmons, first-round draft pick. You want to talk about a guy who could cause some havoc on the line of scrimmage. Not too many people blocked him back in the day in Starkville. There's Elston Jenkins, second-round draft pick for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, go ahead and try to block those two.
I was just going to say, I mean, they're intimidating sitting down, but when they stood up, forget it.
Williams.
Whoa.
Little pinball action. Bodies flying everywhere. I don't have the officials making sure we don't have anything more than a common foul here. They might take a look at the monitor.
Well, he got tripped by Williams as he passed the three-point line, and then Williams tried to poke it from behind. But the initial was a trip near the three-point line is what I had thought. But maybe that's, not sure if that's the one they called or the reach-in.
I think Ben Howland wanted a little bit more than a common foul called on that play. Woodard knocks down the first free throw. Robert Woodard, now in his sophomore year out of Columbus, Mississippi.
I like the mechanics on his shot. He has the knee bend, high elbow, and look at the arc on that free throw. You see that arc?
Yep.
That's beautiful. I love watching stuff like that. I like watching things done the way they're supposed to be done. In the, you know, you have the action and the result matches.
The action wasn't very good on the plethora of air balls we've seen fired up tonight.
No, looked good.
Whole lot of contact down low. That's going to go against ULM. Ifaje whistle for the foul.
Keyshawn Fizel is a guy that he's got gigantic hands. Okay, so he's an athletic player who is learning now how to become more involved from an offensive standpoint. We'll see his progression as well. Talk about Reggie Perry's progression. You'll see Fizel and his ability to catch it on the block, make some moves. It's going to be so much fun watching this kid throughout the year as he gets more minutes. But that's it, Mike. I go back. Stewart, Fizel, Molinari, these guys have got to get these minutes.
Nbajay will get no more minutes as he's just fouled out of the game with 4:18 to play. Fiesel's had a rough night. He's 0 for 3 from the field, no points, 3 fouls and 4 turnovers, but he finally gets a break as that ball bounces in.
Sometimes you need to see it go in, Mike. You know what I'm saying? And then forget it now. He may just go off.
Rattles the second one home. He'll go to the bench with something to feel good about. His lead swells to 17 now for Mississippi State.
Yeah, that is a good point. I like when you have a player that can have that good feeling and confidence leaving the floor, because you never want to leave on a mistake, a turnover, missed shot, get subbed out. That's the worst.
Ertl on a 3. To Williams, back to Ertl. Might have gotten away with a walk. And throws it into the backcourt. Another turnover on the Warhawks. That's 15 on the night. Our final media timeout sends us to break.
What makes a house a...
You know, you're building the schedule, and to go back to Coach Howland and what he was talking about, implementing not only a few new guys, but in key positions, decision-making positions. Losing what they lost last year, you're talking a whole lot of minutes and points from Quindary Witherspoon, from Lamar Peters and Eric Holman. So you need to have games in your non-conference that are set up to challenge your guys, but also give them an opportunity to grow and make some mistakes and gel together.
Yeah, scheduling is not the same recipe for every team, because not every team is in the same situation.
And sometimes you don't get to have the exact schedule that you want, but you just know you want a challenge at some point. You want to be able to get guys minutes. I mean, Ben Holland talked about how there's plenty of guys that he wanted to get minutes, just couldn't find a minute.
3 ball rattled home by Stewart. By the way, Nick Weatherspoon will be back for that New Mexico State game, so Mississippi State will be at full strength by that time.
That'd be nice for him to get a game under his belt before conference play.
And if you're looking ahead, as some of us do from time to time, the conference opener will be at home against the Auburn Tigers. What do you think about Auburn this year?
I love him. Javon McCormick had to step in, and no one's going to fill Jared Harper's shoes, but he played really well the other night at South Alabama. How about them scheduling a game at South Alabama? Give Auburn a lot of credit. You have Jamal Johnson stepped up, knocked down, imitating his Bryce Brown. So they've got a lot of positives for Auburn. Ooh.
That's going to leave a mark.
I guess you don't have to look at the monitor when the guy's head snaps back.
Stewart can't find the mark on the free throw. 20-point lead. That is the largest of the night for Mississippi State. Under 3 minutes to go. Not the shooting performance that Michael Ertl had hoped for coming off the game against Texas A&M, where he lit it up.
And what's key now, Mike, is you want to see Mississippi State close this out. And that means control the offense. We want high percentage shots. What are those? Layups, dunks, free throws, and open jump shots. No turnovers, hard cuts, understand how to finish a game.
They have cut down the turnovers tonight. They were averaging 20. They've got 13 so far. Instead, it's been their opponent turning it over at an alarming rate. And another one there. That's 17 now on the Warhawks. And a whistle down low, and that'll go against Effortui. Now some of the backups are going to come in from Mississippi State. I mean, this is basically an 8-man roster in terms of guys in the rotation without Nick Weatherspoon. Of course, they can't wait to get him back. That'll change the overall complexion of this team. You lose a lot. You think about Three guys that all have a chance to play in the NBA that are no longer on this roster. It's a lot to overcome for any team. But because recruiting is picked up under Ben Howland, they're equipped to not have a major dip this year. This would be Mississippi State's 25th consecutive non-conference win at the Hump. And they're likely going to hold their opponent to under 60. Ben Howland is 30-1. The Bulldogs turn that defensive trick. Around the horn, sets up the three. And that kind of night for the Warhawks. Now we're going to see Big Quentin Post check in. He is a 7-foot freshman out of the Netherlands.
His first minutes. And then an opportunity for him to see the floor. He'll get some minutes. Elias King, another 6'8", get a chance to get some minutes.
Assuming Reggie Perry's night is done, he'll finish with 14 points, 14 rebounds. That 14 rebound mark ties his career high.
And Mike, I can't tell you enough how much just getting on the floor, even if it's not meaningful minutes, does, as you see another turnover there, a little bit too much. Because you know, the lights are a lot brighter than they are in practice. There's people in the stands hollering at you, shoot, shoot, as you can just hear people saying, shoot. So, I mean, it's sometimes about presence of mind. It's about getting in this environment, this atmosphere, saying, oh, okay, this is how it is. Okay, I'll be ready next time. I understand. And that's important for a young guy. I can remember my first time in this situation as a freshman. I had the ball near half court and just holding it. And some guy yelled, what are you going to do? Shoot it or pass it? And I looked at him, and he was in the stand. I looked at him, I go, oh, yeah. I mean, I was, you know, daring the headlights. And so you get comfortable now with playing in front of that kind of a crowd and in the atmosphere.
I'm guessing you shot it.
Yeah, you know me, right?
I know you too well.
Okay.
Oh, inside and a foul drawn. Oduro, who Ben Howland does think is going to become a great player in time. 6'8" sophomore from Toronto, Canada. He knew he was going to get hacked on the play and said, I might as well do what I can, absorb the contact and try to get it to go. As it turns out, he'll get 2 free throws.
Protect myself a little bit.
Now, I watch rotation. That's a sideway spin. It's hard to work. See if he can clean that up on the second attempt.
Big fella taking the contact.
Wow.
And you saw the result of it, though, Mike. It landed on the right side of the rim because of that spin. It spun all the way to the back and left side.
Sideways spin typically not what you're going for.
No, you're right. I mean, the back spin is beautiful, obviously, because it hits the rim. It's going to land soft. Well, Post got his first taste of defense in the post. He got his first taste of the leather of the ball.
A little bit of a rude awakening for the 7-footer. Should be the final possession for Mississippi State. Butts launches, hits the side of the backboard. The Bulldogs are going to improve to 3-0 on the season. 62-45, your final score. Mississippi State. Ben Howland, a happy camper. Still some things that they'll be able to clean up. Reggie Perry tying a career high with 14 rebounds. Another double-double for the talented sophomore. 14 points and 14 rebounds. We'll see if we can get the big man to come on over here momentarily.
Well, he certainly, you can tell, is the cornerstone of what they want to do. At this point, Tyson Carter, Reggie Perry are the two guys that you trust with the ball in their hands. And Reggie can hurt you in so many different ways. He can get on the offensive glass, something he's been able to do. We saw him catch and shoot confidently with that three. He gets to the free throw line, and also he's facilitating now for his teammates.